the idea of like, let me just sit here and like stew on something or like meditate or try and get in touch with myself, it's just sometimes too much. I'm like, bitch, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna turn on Beverly Hills, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and call it a night. Okay, I'm done. Well, I'm gonna be meditating with Erica Jane over here. Okay,
Right.
but for me, honestly, one thing that I have found that really works is, and this is why I think, um, sometimes my sisters and like other performers in the community will read me because I like to take my time when I get ready, when I'm like painting and I'm doing all of this, because for me, it's one of the few times where I feel like um, quiet enough to just sort of like get in touch with like what I'm feeling, like, and or I just find myself in this place where I'm really present in like what it is that I'm doing, and my mind isn't like going 15,000 different directions at once, or I'm not like thinking about like, oh, I need to be this place, and that place. Is that every time? No, but more times than not, when I'm putting myself into drag, there is a form of meditation and a form of like plugging in. And it's weird because I think of uh, plugging in for me happens when I unplug this, right? Like when I unplug my brain, like from that endless cycle of like just thoughts and like things that I'm constantly thinking about, when I unplug that and just get into like the moment and what I'm doing, that's when I feel like that there's this like sort of meditation happening. And that's all of a sudden when things will become clear for me, or maybe things that I was feeling a certain way about, all of a sudden that's resolved, or I know the next right thing to do, or, things like that. So traditional meditation doesn't work for me, but painting my face does.
Yeah. I can relate to that completely. I have a similar experience when I'm, getting in the face and stuff. I mean, to me, creating is like such a spiritual thing, giving life to something, like what's more godly or divine or sacred than that. And so I think, putting on a face, putting on the stones, whatever, like all of that to me is bringing life to an expression or that sort of thing. So I totally relate to what you just shared, Bobby. How about Dragon King or the Dragon King or Ashley Blow?
I have too much anxiety and I am too neurodivergent to do meditation. I'll get too distracted in my own head. So what I do is I will the reason I love living in San Francisco so much is because I can go on these long ass walks. Like I've gone walking for almost 7 hours in like the darkest times in my life, and I'll have a playlist, and sometimes it'll have words and sometimes it won't. And times when it doesn't, it's at least like enough that I can tune out the rest of the world, but like see everything around me and like have that time to like think out my life and figure out what I need. And I do find painting meditative, but honestly, the times when I get like a lot more introspective or in the zone is when I'm working on accessories or sewing or something like that. I don't know. There's just something about like doing the teeny tiniest little details and using gallons of hot glue for the particular stuff that I work on. That's just really soothing and really able to just kind of recenter myself and kind of like realign where I am in the universe. And it's some of the few times I feel like I can just have that time to myself, because I'm between doing drag, working at multiple venues, working security and door at multiple venues, running 2 event spaces. There's a lot of talking and there's a lot of chatter, and it's sometimes very hard not to just like give all that I have to everyone else and not take that time to like recenter inside of myself. So I find like the music, the walking, the tuning out a good way to kind of realign myself.
Awesome.
Yeah, I see a lot of similarities between religious and non-religious folks, and it comes down to a practice and what brings you joy. And for a lot of religious folks, it's the Sunday church. It's seeing their friends at church and going through the traditions and that sort of thing. And then for a lot of non-religious folks, speaking for myself in particular, I loved going to my Gay Men's Chorus rehearsals every Monday. That was such a spiritual experience for me. When we would sing together, we're fumbling through the music, and then when it finally connects and we're all connected to this piece of music, there's so much joy that comes out of that, and it's such a spiritual moment. So that's a connection for me. Also, I agree with Bobby and the Dragon King. There's a connection with oneself when you're painting and you're living in your art space, and then performing. That's the ultimate connection for me. If I'm performing a song, sometimes I just get lost in the music or get lost in the song because I try to do songs that mean something to me, and that's such a spiritual thing. And you're looking out at the audience and you're connecting with the audience and you're feeling that energy and you're just there with everybody. That is church for me. I love it.